Today on Toy Habits Reviews, we have the Masterverse Evil-Sorceress of Castle Grayskull on the examination table. And before we get into the review, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you can be alerted to the latest reviews, news, and episodes when they drop. Hey everyone, welcome back to Toy Habits, and we are coming at you from our examination room. I'm Michael, and with me is my collector in crime, Larry, and today we are taking a detailed look at the Masters of the Universe Masterverse Skelesorceress, aka Evil-Lyn version 2, or Lingerie Lyn, or whatever you want to call her. And I was so excited to get her out of the box, and through the magic of editing, we can actually show you how she comes packed in the box, but she comes packed in the Revelation sub-line packaging with some cool artwork on the side and the back of the box, as always.
Yeah, I like the artwork. So the thing that stands out to me though is like I almost wish they would have added like something to the description as far as her name.
Yeah.
Like to me this needs another name other than just Evil-Lyn,
Yeah, I think so too. Like Mattel at SDCC 2022 called her the Skelesorceress, so that I thought that was going to be branded that way.
Yeah, I mean it's probably just maybe just a matter of just them reusing kind of that front of the box from the other one. But to me, like that's part of having distinctive packaging a little bit. And I don't know. I guess I would just like to see it. It's just a little detail. The artwork looks cool. I think it looks like it's almost like a more realistic kind of look to what the animation was. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think we were talking about this when we were reviewing the Masterverse CGI He-Man. It's like the real person take on a cartoon character.
Yeah, it's a weird kind of translation of it, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And I think the artwork on these is almost always really good. So
yeah, definitely. All right, well, Lynn is already out of the box, so let's take a closer look at the figure. All right, now we've zoomed into Evil-Lyn quite a bit, and this is actually how she comes packed out of the box when you take her out. So she has her soft goods cape, and she has these two armbands which we can show you how to put on later on. But yeah, I mean, her head sculpt is cool. It's pretty much exactly like the Revelation series, and I really like the pronounced ears on the bat, the beady little eyes, and just how the teeth are framed on her head.
yeah, I think the head sculpt is awesome. Like I think they did a really good job. Like her face really captures the look. And yeah, I really like the head sculpt a lot. I think it really came out good. I think it's a cool design in general. And then I think they did a good job translating it over to the toy. So
Yeah, I like her kind of pursed look that she has on her face, and I think they did her eyes really well too.
yeah. I mean they kind of the expression and the eyes and everything kind of goes along with kind of the vibe of the the figure, I guess. But like I mean that's kind of what they're shooting for. So I guess the whole thing is just part of the presentation. So
yeah, and I think for the remainder of the review, I'm just gonna pop her head off. Oh, I will put it back on, but just to kind of show you her head and her collar piece actually looked like they were one piece when I first took it off, but you can actually shimmy her head out of it, which I thought was great. So you can kind of put her on, with or without her furry collar cape.
yeah, that's a pretty cool way to handle that. Again, I always love different display options, so I think it's cool that they set that up like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what other use you'd have for the cape, but maybe it could be a cool accessory for a different figure.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know if you'd actually want to display your figure like this, but I took the cape off just because we could just get a better look at the sculpt and the paint apps on the figure. And so we're not trying to be weird, but this is just how she came out. So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, to me the figure, the design is what it is. It's just a matter of kind of reviewing what's there and
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
what are you gonna do?
This is basically how she was dressed in the Revelation series. So,
Yeah,
she's basically has painted on clothing, which is kind of weird. And I think you mentioned this quite a bit. Once you start moving the arms, like look what happens to the arms.
yeah, that's it's so it's funny to me because like I guess the wardrobe choice itself for the cartoon was kind of a on the not risky side, but you know what I mean. Like it's more kind of adult natured
Yeah.
clothes and stuff for her. And then I think to actually put that out as a figure, it seems that kind of surprising to me that they did this, but I think it's cool. But I do think that kind of the way that it's designed, yeah, you're left with those weird lines, and I almost wish that they would have gone with like actual like cloth kind of lingerie
Yeah.
pieces. I mean, at some point, I think I don't know, maybe makes it more kind of feel weird to be creating a Motu figure in lingerie, but I mean, at some point, it's painted that way anyways. So I almost think it would have been better display wise to have some, better posing and stuff where you're not left with trying to keep all those lines kind of running the way they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, even just with the just touching it, you can kind of knock off the lines pretty easily. And I don't know, like I don't usually pose the legs and the thighs and things like that. So I mean, the lines will pretty much stay the same on the shelf. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking that too. Like they could have given her more of like a skirt in the front, and then
Yeah.
just maybe I guess it would have been. Yeah, I'm not really sure how they would deal with a whole soft goods clothing aspect of her, but yeah, it
Yeah.
is kind of weird just to have her without her cape and her collar. So, but again, different display options if you want to display her like this.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's cool, and again, I still like the head sculpt, and
Yeah,
I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they make a kind of a more vintage style Evil-Lyn down the road, if kind of how that head sculpt might come out, putting it on like a different Evil-Lyn body. So
yeah.
it's a really cool head sculpt. I like that. That's probably my favorite part of the whole figure. So
Yeah. I think they really nailed that aspect of it. And again, I think maybe just looking at the legs, it's kind of weird to have all this stuff disconnected like this. That's kind of the the socks or whatever these are. Not up in my lingerie etiquette, but yeah, there's really nothing connecting the two pieces together. But that's all I
yeah,
could see that's missing.
yeah, and that makes it a little weird because yeah, looking at it like design wise, yeah, you would almost have to have some kind of you'd have to have some kind of strap or something that holds everything together because unless they're like leather pieces, and I don't think that's the case.
Right. No, I don't think so either. But just looking at her pack out, it's a pretty basic pack out. So she comes with are, the furry collar and the cape, and then these two extra hands that are cool. And I kind of like that they're kind of doing more of like spell casting hands instead of just kind of normal straight out hands on her.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's cool, and yeah, gives you some variety again, and the guard pieces that come
Hmm.
up across her the top of her hand and stuff. I
Yeah,
think
maybe those are
just add a
leather.
little bit of yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, those probably are leather. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she comes with her scepter that was packed in her first iteration. And so I'm going to bring that in. And there's just a very subtle difference between the two. So there's just a shinier silver paint on the new one. And the handles are the same. It's just a gray. And I actually wish they had painted the handle the same color, as the scepter part of it.
Yeah.
Oop.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I mean, especially because the pack out is so kind of boring. It's just stuff that we've seen before.
I mean, I guess maybe they just didn't know what else to put with her,
Yeah,
like
I guess what
and
else can you do?
yeah, and I guess that's the thing, and that's why I think maybe some soft goods would have been a good addition for this particular figure just because of that, because
Yeah.
there's nothing else to really pack with her. I mean, you could do a spell book or something.
Oh,
Um,
that'd be cool.
yeah, I mean, I think you might been able to come up with a few accessories like that, but I think maybe doing some soft goods would have I don't know, would have been a way to kind of make the figure really stand out. But
Yeah. Oh, one thing to note actually, it looks like Mattel might be listening to collectors because remember the
yeah,
little
pieces.
holes? Yeah, so
Yep,
they actually tied these down with tape, like clear tape this time. So which
nice.
is good. So you don't
That's
get the holes in the costumes, which is nice.
Yeah, that's a lot better because yeah, you're just asking for problems down the road with those holes kind
Yeah,
of starting out. And I hate clipping those little things. Those are such a pain.
yeah, they totally are, and it's like I always try. I'm probably like gonna puncture it or something with a pair of scissors. But
Yep.
we're gonna show you just how to put on Evil-Lyn's cape through these little attachments that attach to her arms, and it's a little tricky because this piece on the upper band on her, it's kind of too far up, and so you can't really, you kind of have to take off her head and
Got it.
also take off her arms, or sorry, take off her hands, and
Hmm.
then what you can do is then you can just kind of slide these bands um, kind of up her arms. And the reason why I take off the hands is because in the spellcasting hands, they kind of get caught on these
Yeah.
bands.
Yeah, I could see that.
And so it's a little bit of a kind of a pain to put this on. But if you really don't take it off very much or just leave it on, then you just kind of have to do this one time.
Yeah, and I could see. I think it's cool. I like that they did that. It's a cool way to kind of handle that. As far as to make the cape kind of flow with the arms and stuff more naturally, and it kind of helps hide some of those lines we talked about too. So
Oh yeah, yeah. Just the only pain is just kind of finagling these bands, to. Here we go. Yeah. So, what I typically do, because I've done this a couple times, just trying to figure out just what's the best way to do this without actually ripping or trying to tear the fabric, is just to leave her furry collar just down here
hmm
until you put the hands on, and we'll put on some different hands for her, but gotta leave a clutching hand in there so she can grab her scepter,
Oh yeah.
which she can see. So yeah, so what you can do when that's all done, actually, a better way to do this is to just pop her head on before you put the collar on, because there's not a lot of clearance with
hmm
these collars, and then just separate it, back on, and
Yep.
there she goes. There, and now you can have her posed like so, and you can there, which is cool. It's like this is probably how I'm just going to display her on the shelf anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's cool, and especially because like they're not obtrusive. So if you decide you don't want them on the arms, you want it just to kind of hang, then you just don't put them on, and it still looks natural. It doesn't look like it detracts from it or anything.
Yeah, and yeah, typically, yeah, the lower armband should go around her wrist. It's just caught in her elbow
Yeah.
joint at the moment. So yeah, it's kind of like the one that is on her left arm. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it's like Burger King. You can have it your way, baby, however you want it. So this is pretty much the figure. There's really, not a ton to her. It's basically a figure that is directly ripped from the Revelation series. And yeah, I mean, if you're into this style of Evil-Lyn, I'm sure it'll look good on your shelf next to all of the other Revelation figures.
Yeah, and then we've talked a little bit that I'm not necessarily collecting the Masterverse line as a whole. I'm just collecting bits and pieces. This is probably a figure I'll skip just because like even if I was collecting the majority of it, I think I would have a hard time with this figure. Just trying to figure out kind of where it fits in because like it feels like one that it's cool because it's a new toy, put it on the shelf and it's like, oh wow, it looks great, and then 3 or 4 months down the road you're just like,
Yeah.
it doesn't really fit in with the rest of it. It's just it's like an extra version of Evil-Lyn,
Yeah.
and it doesn't necessarily go with anything else. So I think I would end up just kind of putting it away. So I don't know. This one would probably be a pretty easy pass for me.
Yeah.
Um,
I just noticed that I put her wrong hand on there, but hey,
oh, whoops.
again, you can do that because
Yep.
some sorcery where her thumb is on the wrong
There you go.
side. So, all right. Well, that wraps up our review of the Masterverse Skelesorceress from the Revelation subline. So let us know what you think about this figure in the comments below. I'm Michael.
And I'm Larry.
And thanks for dropping into the Toy Habits examination room.